Do you know you should set some boundaries in your marriage or some other relationship, but you're just not going there because, to be honest, you're paralyzed by the fear of what if? What if he has a bad reaction and gets upset? What if he were to leave me? What would I do? I couldn't live without him. Or what if I set a boundary and he sticks his toe over the line and then I have to follow through with consequences and maybe even have to have a separation or something for a while and I'll just fall apart. I won't be able to take care of myself and, right? What if? Well, I found that these what if paralyzing fears really boil down to three things. We're not trusting in God's promises to us, or maybe we're just embracing the spirit of fear subconsciously, but embracing it. Or third, we're talking negative smack talk inside our heads. I'll never be able to handle it. This is going to end terribly. I won't be able to do it right. We just end up being in a defeated mode because of what we're telling ourselves. Okay, how do we overcome these paralyzing fears? Well, number one, choose to take God at His word. Choose to believe His promises to you. For instance, Hebrews 13:5. Love this promise. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. As in, never. No matter what happens in this relationship that you're concerned about, your marriage, with your child, with your mother-in-law, whatever happens in that relationship, God will never leave you. Isn't that comforting? And now you don't have to cower in fear because there's one thing you can count on. God will always be by your side. Secondly, what if you have been subconsciously embracing the spirit of fear? This is not from God. This is not God's plan for you. This is from the enemy. In fact, God says in 2 Timothy 1 that He does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of self-control. So if you find yourself just fearful all the time, that's from the enemy. And this is where I say, get behind me, Satan. I refuse to bite on this spirit of fear, this temptation to be fearful. I choose to trust in God. And then thirdly, what if you've been talking negative inside your head? I won't be able to handle it. I'll fall to pieces. I'll never be able to take care of myself. I just can't draw these boundaries, right? Sound familiar? Well, I would advise coaching your soul. King David did this all the time throughout the Psalms. Read Psalm 43 for an example, where he says, Why are you downcast, O my soul? Why so disturbed within me? I will put my hope in God. He's reminding himself of what is true instead of talking negative inside of his head. And if you want a thing that you could put inside your head that is not negative but is true and hopeful, think about Philippians 4:13. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Dwell on that. Remind yourself of that. Coach yourself about that truth, and you will start to be able to move forward in setting appropriate, healthy boundaries in your relationship.